I stood outside the cinema, patiently waiting until the crowds dispersed, but there was still no sign of Serafina. Just as I was about to leave, I suddenly saw her walking out from the lobby, with Ethan by her side. They were both laughing and talking happily, looking no different from a blissful couple. They were excitedly discussing the movie they had just watched, their eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. As for me, I had been standing there waiting for her for 3 hours like a fool, only to discover that she had gone to the movies with another man. This wasn't the first time she had broken a promise. Many times, Serafina had left me waiting in vain. Whenever I suggested a divorce because I was too exhausted, she would burst into tears and plead, "I know I was wrong, please don't leave me, okay?" When our eyes met, Serafina frowned and spoke with an air of dissatisfaction. "How did you know I was here? Are you stalking me?" It seemed she had completely forgotten about our movie date today. Before I could answer, Ethan quickly spoke up, "Serafina, go home with Arthur first, I can grab an Uber." Hearing Ethan's words, Serafina's expression softened instantly, the irritation from a moment ago vanishing. She said with concern, "No, your leg hasn't fully healed yet. Let me drop you off first." As she spoke, she shot me a defiant glance. Some people always think of things in such a negative way that they resort to stalking others. If it were before, I might have scrambled to explain myself, but now I only felt weary. Ethan quickly hopped into the passenger seat, then turned back to flash an arrogant smile at me. "Arthur, I get a bit motion sick, do you mind sitting in the back?" Serafina also urged me to get in the car, but I shook my head. "You two go ahead, I can make my own way back." That statement was like adding fuel to the fire, making Serafina snap in anger. "Arthur, you're a man, why are you being so petty? What's the difference between the front seat and the back seat that you have to make such a big scene?" I didn't want to argue anymore, so I turned my back and called a ride home. An hour later, Serafina finally arrived. The moment she stepped through the door, she lashed out at me furiously, "You didn't show me any respect out there, and you even dared to stalk me?" I pulled Hai Tam Ve Zem Phim Hang Num from my pocket and asked calmly, "You promised to go to the movies with me today, didn't you?" Serafina's face changed instantly, showing clear embarrassment, but she quickly regained her composure. "I was too busy today, so I forgot about that." I just gave a faint wave of my hand and continued assembling my model. Whenever I felt disappointed, I would build models and tell myself, when the model is finished, that is the moment I let go. Seeing my silence, Serafina sat down across from me impatiently. "These were tickets gifted by the company. I remembered you had already seen this movie, so I took Ethan along instead. That's all there is to it." I paused for a moment to think. In truth, this wasn't the first time. On March 17th, I found 2 concert tickets for my favorite singer in Serafina's pocket. I had happily thought it was a gift she prepared for me. But when I looked closely, the performance date was March 16th, and the person who went with her wasn't me. When asked, she explained she only went with Ethan. On April 16th, while cleaning the walk-in closet, I found a beautifully wrapped watch. I thought she still loved me and remembered my birthday. But when she came home, she simply took the watch and went out. It turned out to be a gift for Ethan. She had even forgotten my birthday. Things like this happened more times than I could count. All the cold discrimination, I remembered it all in my heart like a wound that never healed. I gave a self-deprecating smile. "No need to explain, whatever you say." This time, I truly didn't care anymore. My indifferent attitude made Serafina genuinely angry. "All you do all day is build models. I've explained the relationship between me and Ethan so many times, why can't you just let it go?" I smiled slightly. Now, who is the one who can't let go? Serafina was stunned by my question. Before, I would have lost my temper and questioned her about who was more important between me and Ethan. I would have made her promise never to meet him privately again. She would agree, but then find other excuses to meet him anyway. It seemed she enjoyed seeing me jealous. If you can't hold on, then let go. I looked back at the model. It would be finished in just a few days. Serafina also calmed down, saying softly, "Arthur, Ethan sacrificed a lot for me, but in the end, I still chose you. I just want to repay him a little." I understood what she was implying. Serafina always believed Ethan's leg injury was from saving her. Even if she owed him a debt of gratitude, she shouldn't be alone with another man. Why couldn't I go along? Every time I said that, she would get angry and tell me my thoughts were too wicked. She even said Ethan didn't like me, and if he saw me, he would feel uncomfortable. So she knew very well about Ethan's feelings, yet she allowed this unhealthy relationship to continue. Serafina stammered, Aren't you angry? I looked at her with a questioning gaze. You've given a valid reason. What reason do I have to be angry? Serafina bit her lip, saying with difficulty, Arthur, you seem to have changed. I replied in a flat voice, Isn't this the person you always wanted me to become? Now that I've changed as you wished, why are you unhappy? She tightened her grip on her shirt hem and sighed, Never mind. Go iron a shirt for me, I need to wear it tomorrow. I didn't look up, my eyes still focused on the model. Iron it yourself, I'm busy. For the first time, I refused Serafina's request. She angrily slammed my model, sending pieces flying everywhere, and screamed, How long are you going to keep acting like this? Arthur, you're always like this, difficult, stubborn, and saying one thing while thinking another. I didn't respond, quietly picking up the model pieces and heading into the room. It seemed I needed to finish it quickly. That night, Serafina didn't enter the bedroom, and I didn't take the initiative to make peace as I used to. The next morning, I woke up early and left the house. Years ago, I had given up my career for Serafina, but now it was time for me to return to society for myself. As I walked through the door of my old firm, my boss's eyes lit up. Arthur, you've finally decided to come back. I told you, with your talent, staying at home doing housework is such a waste. Just as I finished signing the contract, my phone rang. It was Serafina. Why haven't you bought breakfast yet? I'm going to be late for work. I replied calmly, I have something to do, so I didn't buy any. Grab something yourself. After saying that, I hung up. The bell rang again, Serafina's voice full of rage. What could you possibly have to do that keeps you from buying breakfast? Stop sulking over the Ethan thing. You're an adult, don't be so childish. If I don't see you in 10 minutes, don't blame me for what happens. I silently hung up. For the past 3 years, I had taken care of every meal and every piece of clothing for her, treating her as my center. Perhaps over such a long time, Serafina had forgotten I was her husband and instead viewed me as a servant. But it's not too late to wake up. Half an hour later, Serafina sent me a photo of her breakfast with the text, I can live perfectly fine without you, don't think I can't survive if you're gone. In the reflection of the spoon in the photo, I caught a glimpse of Ethan. I turned off my phone and didn't reply. About half an hour later, Ethan sent a friend request. I accepted immediately out of curiosity. His messages flooded in. Arthur, why are you treating Serafina like this? She's busy all day, while you sit at home with nothing to do, and you can't even prepare breakfast? If you're angry because of me, then I apologize, but don't take your anger out on Serafina. I laughed coldly and replied, if you want her that badly, she's all yours. Good luck to both of you. With that, I immediately deleted and blocked him. Me, at home with nothing to do? That must have been what Serafina complained to him about. She never saw my sacrifice in cooking 3 meals a day, hand-washing delicate silk pieces, cleaning the house, and taking care of both families for all these years. The phone rang again. It was Serafina. Arthur, what do you mean by this? Have I been too easy on you lately? I frowned into the receiver. Watch your tone with me. Right now. From the other end of the line, I heard the sound of a chair dragging and a door slamming. She was hiding in a private room. Serafina lowered her voice in irritation. What did you say to Ethan? We're just friends. He saw how you were treating me and only stepped in to protect. I let out a jagged laugh. Protect you? Tell me, what have I ever done to you? Who was the one who broke their promise first? Who was the one out with another man without even trying to hide it? Serafina cut me off, her voice suddenly dripping with a smug, toxic sweetness. Arthur, I knew it. You're still jealous, aren't you? Stop making a scene. I shook my head, though she couldn't see it, my voice flat with exhaustion. "I'm not jealous. I'm just stating the facts." She hung up. Immediately after, a text message arrived. "Arthur, I want to see just how long you can keep up this tough guy act." She was so confident, convinced that I would always be the loyal dog waiting on the porch. I decided to head to the mall to buy some professional attire for my return to work. But the moment I walked into the department store, I spotted two familiar figures, Serafina and Ethan. I pulled my cap down, adjusted my mask, and followed them silently from a distance. Serafina was meticulously picking out clothes for Ethan, running her hands over the fabric and carefully adjusting every collar. "This light color will suit you better. This one really complements your skin tone, you have to take it." That level of meticulous care made me feel a stinging sense of shame for myself. In the past, whenever I suggested we go shopping together, she always claimed she was buried in work. It turns out it wasn't a lack of time, she just didn't want to spend it on me. The sales clerk beamed at them. "You two are such a happy couple, it makes even me jealous." Strangely, neither of them refuted it, they just shared a private smile. The sight was like a serrated blade twisting in my chest. "Arthur, it's time to end this." I overheard Ethan ask her tentatively, "If Arthur knew you were out shopping with me, would he lose it?" Serafina gave a sharp, indifferent snort. "We're just good friends. He doesn't have a social life, so does that mean he has to dictate mine? He's just petty. Just let him cool off for a few days and he'll come crawling back to make peace. He always does." Indeed, the saying is true, the one who is pampered takes the right to never worry for granted. Serafina assumed that because I loved her, she was free to break my heart without a second thought. I didn't stay to hear the rest, I didn't want to hear another word. I returned home and sat at my workbench to continue working on my model. Before long, my masterpiece would be finished. 2 hours later, Serafina arrived home, arms laden with shopping bags from various high-end boutiques. Seeing me, she acted as if our morning fight had never happened, clutching my arm with a radiant smile. She was in a good mood, which meant things had gone well out there. Serafina was always like that. When she was happy with the world, she was kind to me, but if things didn't go her way, I became her punching bag. "Hey babe, what's for lunch?" she asked cheerfully. I stepped to the side, breaking her hold. "I didn't cook anything. If you're hungry, order something on DoorDash." A flash of annoyance flickered across Serafina's eyes, but she said nothing. As if remembering something, she hurriedly pulled a short-sleeved t-shirt from a bag. "Try this on. I just bought it. I thought it'd look hot on you." I glanced at the shirt. It was an out-of-style clearance item from the rack near the mall entrance, an afterthought. And more importantly, it was green, the color I hate the most. After 3 years of marriage, Serafina still couldn't remember her husband's preferences. I stood up to leave because sitting next to her made me feel suffocated. Seeing me get up, Serafina quickly grabbed my hand. "Where are you going?" "I need some fresh air." "Don't you like the shirt?" she pressed, her eyes searching mine for the usual gratitude. Actually, this was the first time Serafina had ever proactively bought me clothes. Years ago, I would have been moved to tears. I would have held her and told her I was the luckiest man in the world. I thought for a moment, then took the t-shirt and tried it on. It was tight, suffocatingly so. She had clearly bought it in Ethan's size, not mine. In this relationship, who was the real intruder? Me or Ethan? Why did I feel like a ghost in my own home? Looking at the ill-fitting shirt, Serafina's expression became complicated. After a few seconds, she said with a hint of guilt, "I must have bought the wrong size. I'll go exchange it later." I pulled the shirt off and tossed it onto the sofa. "No need. Just give it to Ethan, it'll fit him perfectly." Serafina's pupils dilated. She stared at me. I said coldly, "Don't look at me like that. Weren't you having a great time strolling around with Ethan? Your choice of size was quite accurate for him, wasn't it?" Serafina clenched her fists, her voice rising in anger. "Arthur, are you stalking me again?" I let out a long, heavy sigh. "Serafina, don't flatter yourself. I have better things to do than follow you. It was a coincidence. But then, as they say, if you don't want people to know, don't do it. Serafina rushed to explain, "It's not what it looks like, Arthur. It's not what you think." It seemed she only knew how to say that one sentence. But if I asked for the truth, she could never provide it. "Why didn't you correct the sales clerk when she called you two a couple?" I asked, looking her dead in the eye. She wiped a bead of sweat from her forehead, answering awkwardly, "I just didn't think it was worth the breath. She's a stranger, Arthur. Why waste the effort saying anything?" I looked at Serafina, a sense of emptiness finally hitting bottom. It was over. I just nodded, letting her explain it her way. I truly didn't care anymore. When I turned my head away, I realized Serafina's eyes were brimming with tears. She looked quite pitiful. By reflex, I wanted to reach out and comfort her, but in the end, my hand stopped mid-air and I withdrew it. Serafina asked through sobs, "Arthur, what is wrong with you lately? You were never like this before." I didn't answer. After a long silence, I blurted out something completely unrelated. "I just found a job. I start in a few days. I'll be staying in corporate housing near the office for convenience." As soon as I finished, the tears flowed freely. She grabbed my hand and cried, "Arthur, what do you mean? Are you planning to live away from me?" I shook my head and then nodded. "The firm is high pressure. Commuting takes too much time, so I think staying there is just easier." Serafina protested immediately, "I don't agree. You can't go. How can you leave me all alone here? Don't be like this. Look, I even got us tickets for a Broadway show tonight. Can we go together?" Looking at Serafina's tear-streaked face, I felt nothing but irony. Hadn't she left me alone many times before? She used to say work was so busy she needed to stay at the office, and of course, Ethan was there too. Yet now, when the roles were reversed, her attitude was entirely different. Just then, Serafina's phone rang. She shot a furtive glance at me and quickly switched it to silent. The persistent vibration hummed against the silence, irritating me further. "Answer it," I said. Serafina shook her head and whispered, "No need to answer." Despite saying that, she clearly couldn't hide her restlessness. When my phone pinged with a notification, she immediately snatched up her own phone and forced a laugh. I thought my phone rang. I looked at her screen and saw Ethan's name still flashing, a persistent call. I said softly, "Answer it. He might have an emergency." The moment she took the call, Ethan's frantic voice bled through the speaker. "Serafina, why are you just now answering? You said as long as I needed you, you'd be there in a heartbeat." Serafina immediately turned down the volume and turned her back to me. "What's the matter that you're calling over and over like this?" I couldn't hear the response clearly, but I saw Serafina's body instantly tense up. After ending the call, she murmured, "I'm sorry, Arthur. Ethan's leg is hurting again. I have to go see how he is." I couldn't help but ask suspiciously, if his leg hurts, he should go to the ER. "What good does you going there do? Are you a doctor?" Serafina lowered her head and bit her lip hard. "He needs me right now. Can't you just understand? Don't force me to be caught in the middle like this." I collapsed onto the sofa, a sense of total exhaustion washing over me. She would never change. "Go." Serafina hurried toward the door. "I'm so sorry, Arthur. I'll go check on him and come right back. Wait for me at home, okay? I'll be back by 8 o'clock so we can go catch the play." Without waiting for my answer, Serafina rushed out of the house. I sat and waited until 9:30 p.m., but there was no call. I didn't turn on the lights. I just sat by the window watching the streetlights from the neighboring houses. There was a time when I too dreamed of such a warm, stable home, but in the end, it was all just a fleeting dream. When the clock struck exactly midnight, Serafina finally returned. The first word out of her mouth was, "Sorry." I had heard this apology too many times. I spoke calmly, "You broke your promise." Serafina didn't reply. She simply handed me a gift box. It was a vintage military model kit I had once loved the most. She used to say building models was childish, yet here she was proactively buying one. I accepted it, polite but distant. "Thank you." Serafina's face clearly showed her hurt. You never used to treat me with such formal courtesy before. As you said, that was before. And before, you never bought me models yourself either. Serafina sighed. Arthur, can we stop this? I've been really uncomfortable these past few days. I don't find it uncomfortable. Serafina clearly didn't believe me. Stop pretending. We are legally husband and wife, while it's just a friendship between me and Ethan. Why do you keep treating him like an enemy? Do I have to completely cut ties with him for you to be satisfied? I chose silence. Serafina continued to insist. I swear from now on I won't leave you behind to go see Ethan anymore. Can't you stop treating me like this? That vow, I had heard it until my ears grew tired. I replied softly, I'm sleepy. I'm going to bed. Ignoring Serafina's reproachful gaze, I turned my back, walked into the guest room, and locked the door. When I woke up the next morning, it was already midday. There was a full spread laid out on the dining table. Serafina, busy in the kitchen, called out happily. You're awake? Hurry and wash up so we can eat. I made the pot roast you love most. I was surprised she actually remembered my favorite dish. While I was eating, she suddenly pulled something from her pocket, looking very excited. Arthur, look. I have a positive pregnancy test. I'm pregnant. It's been over 2 months. Looking at my expressionless face, Serafina felt a bit disappointed. Aren't you happy? This is our child. In my heart, it wasn't that I wasn't happy. It was because I knew for certain Serafina wasn't pregnant at all. She had her period just last month. She assumed I hadn't noticed, so she dared to lie. I didn't expose her, I only forced a smile to avoid making things even more tense. Then she began to talk incessantly about future plans, about exclusive kindergartens, about designer baby clothes. I nodded and agreed to go to the mall with her, not because of the non-existent child, but because I needed to buy a new pair of shoes for my first day of work tomorrow. We had been at the mall for less than 2 hours when Serafina's phone rang. It was Ethan again. Serafina, where are you? My friends are gathered and I've had a bit too much to drink. Can you come pick me up? Serafina unexpectedly refused. Let your friends take you home. I'm with Arthur, I don't have time. Ethan seemed to feel a bit slighted. You can hang out anytime, can't you? Is it because Arthur won't let you come? I knew it. In your heart, Arthur is still more important than me. Immediately following that was the sound of dry heaving from the other end of the line. Serafina gripped her phone in silence. I knew she was struggling, but I said nothing. About a minute later, Serafina turned to look at me. With just one look, I understood immediately. This time, the one being abandoned was me again. I spoke first. Go pick him up. After you get him, we can continue our walk. Serafina looked at me with gratitude and then hurried away. I caught an Uber home and continued assembling the unfinished model. Love doesn't disappear, it only shifts. The balance of her affection had completely tipped toward Ethan long ago. With a dry click, I finished my model. I let out a long breath and picked up my phone to message Serafina, let's get a divorce. Meet me at my lawyer's office tomorrow at 10 a.m. After sending the message, I started packing my bags and left the house. There was nothing left here for me to cling to. Serafina called dozens of times and sent hundreds of messages, but I didn't answer. The funny thing was, even though she couldn't reach me, she didn't think to come home to look for me right away. Through the security camera on my phone, I saw that from beginning to end, she never returned home that night. Clearly, I had never been the most important person to her. The next day, at exactly 10 a.m., I appeared at the lawyer's office. From a distance, I saw Serafina. As she approached, I couldn't help but be surprised. Her face, which was always perfectly made up, was now full of dark circles, and her eyes were swollen and red as if she had been crying all night. The moment she saw me, she burst into tears. Arthur, what are you doing? Why do you want a divorce? Is it true that if I hadn't come today, you would have disappeared forever? I shook my head. If you had come home immediately yesterday, you would have seen me. But you didn't. From start to finish, you never came back. Serafina continued to cry. I was busy handling something else yesterday. Ethan lied to me. He got drunk and told the truth. His leg wasn't injured from saving me. Even that time I was blocked by those guys in the alley was staged by him just to make me feel guilty and eventually fall for him. I've made everything clear to him. I've blocked him on everything. Can we live happily together from now on? She spoke while sobbing, tears and nose running. I handed her a tissue, looked into those hopeful eyes, and said gently, "Don't overthink it. I just don't want others to think I'm being unfair to you." Serafina immediately threw her arms around my neck, choking out, "I know I was wrong. Please don't leave me, okay? It was all because Ethan manipulated me that I treated him like that. I realize my mistake now." I gently pulled her hands away. "I told you before that Ethan's leg wasn't injured the way he said it was, but you didn't believe me." Serafina hurriedly raised her hand to swear. "I swear, from now on I will always believe you unconditionally. I won't doubt you ever again." I only shook my head. "It's too late." Suddenly, as if remembering something, Serafina said, "You can't divorce me. I'm pregnant. We can't file these papers while I'm expecting." Hearing that, I couldn't help but let out a dry laugh. "Serafina, stop the act. You aren't pregnant." Serafina panicked instantly, her eyes shifting as she refused to meet my gaze. A few minutes later she murmured, "How did you know?" I didn't answer, nor did I want to explain how obvious her lies had become. "Go in. Otherwise, the lawyer's staff will be heading to lunch." But Serafina stood her ground, refusing to budge. "Arthur, I know I messed up. I'll quit my job, stay at home full-time, and take care of you, okay? You won't have to stay at the office anymore. I can't live without you. We've been together for 3 years. Don't those feelings mean anything at all?" "Don't I care?" "If I didn't care, the man who stayed up all night blaming himself, the one who waited for you in the dark, wouldn't have been me. The one who tossed and turned in agony, wondering what he did wrong, wouldn't have been me. But I kept those thoughts to myself and chose silence. You also promised never to see Ethan again, but a promise in this house is only valuable in the second it's spoken. After that, it's worthless." When Serafina said she would stay home for me, I was truly floored. Previously, she was so obsessed with her career that the house felt like a hotel to her, yet now she was ready to throw it all away. But I was no longer waiting for her to wake up. Just then, Ethan suddenly appeared. He grabbed Serafina's hand, completely ignoring the fact that I was standing right there. "Serafina, please forgive me. I was just so terrified of losing you. I know I was wrong, but don't abandon me. We've been in each other's lives for over a decade. You can't just cut me out like this." Serafina shot me a worried glance and hurriedly brushed Ethan's hand away. "I made myself very clear yesterday. Stop harassing me. If you don't leave right now, I'm calling the cops." Seeing her resolve, Ethan suddenly pulled a knife from behind his back. "If you're really going to leave me, then you're forcing my hand. I have nothing left to live for." A crowd quickly gathered on the sidewalk. While Serafina tried to talk him down, Ethan grew even more unstable as he saw a police cruiser pulling up. "You're going to be mine, one way or another." He suddenly lunged. Everything happened too fast for me to move. Serafina collapsed onto the pavement in a pool of blood. The police tackled Ethan instantly, and Serafina was rushed to the emergency room. Fortunately, the blade missed her vitals. While she was still in surgery, I left the hospital and instructed my attorney to finalize the divorce proceedings immediately. Having been married for 3 years, it would be a lie to say I felt nothing. But I saw the truth. A shattered glass can never be perfectly mended. Going back would only mean living the same nightmare. I heard through the grapevine that after she woke up, Serafina was hysterical, constantly asking for me, but I had blocked her on everything. I vanished from her life entirely. A mutual friend called me a few weeks later. "Arthur, are you really going through with this? Serafina is a mess. She's barely eating, she's not sleeping, and she's obsessed with finding you." I only replied, "Let her be." My new life gradually found its rhythm. I found a new place, opened a branch for the company, and started meeting new partners. I found the man I used to be, ambitious and confident. One morning, I got a text from an unknown number, but the tone was unmistakably Serafina. "Arthur, this is the last time I'll bother you. I realize now that you've moved on. The last thing I can do for you is sign the papers. You're free. Everything was my fault, and I know sorry doesn't mean much now. I hope you have the life you deserve." I hit delete without replying. A few months later, she would still occasionally use a burner phone to text me, "I can't sleep tonight. I finally realize how much you did for me. I miss you so much." I didn't read past the first few words, I just deleted them like all the others. My friend mentioned that Serafina has dropped out of the social scene entirely. She just stays in that house, frantically trying to get updates on my life. I only nodded, my heart finally at peace. As I pulled out my wallet at a coffee shop, I saw an old photo tucked in a hidden flap. It was Serafina at 20, innocent, kind, and looking at me like I was her whole world. But you can't turn back the clock. I dropped the photo into the trash can by the door and walked out into the city. Goodbye, Serafina.